Hello all you beautiful people, it's Lexi back for another bracelet tutorial. Finally, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make the shaped friendship bracelet. I'm on a hike right now and I just found this really cool sandy place off of the trail. I think trucks come here and dig out sand and stuff for building projects. I'm not sure. I'm just sitting and it's really nice, but it's very windy, so my apologies if the audio sucks. I promise you the rest of the video will be better anyway. Been a long time since I have made a bracelet tutorial, and the shaped bracelet is one of my all-time favorites. It's super fun to make, comes out really beautiful, and it is fairly simple to make. I mean, it's definitely a little more of an advanced technique, but I have some videos on the 4 basic knots in friendship bracelet making that you can check out. It'll be in the description, and that will help you if you don't understand what I mean by all these different types of knots. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. So today we are going to be making the shaped friendship bracelet. We are going to be making one this size. That's the smallest you can make them, just for simplicity purposes. You can also make them a little bigger, and you can pretty much make them as big as you want. I will say that when you are going to scale up, you need to add 2 extra colors as opposed to just 1, because as you can see, I'll show you a little closer, they have these little squares in the middle, and if you just go up by 1, it won't be a little square, it'll be like a weird dot and can sometimes get hidden by the other strings. So this one uses 6 different colors, or 6 strings on each side. So instead of going up to 7, you would go up to 8, then you would go up to 10, then 12, however large you want to scale them. So in order to make this bracelet, you are going to need 6 different colors and 2 strings of each color. That's what I have here. If you were to do it that way, you would organize your strings like this. You can also make this bracelet using 3 colors and simply doubling the amount of strings, which means you would have 4 strings of each color. And if you were to do it that way, you would organize your strings like this. The colors I have chosen are dark blue, light blue, dark green, light green, black, and white. I got a couple comments on some previous videos saying that the colors I chose were too similar and that made them hard to tell the difference between, so hopefully this will solve that problem. So you are just going to tie them in an overhand knot, I like to leave a good amount of length for a nice braid at the end. And then we're going to slide our knot under our clipboard and separate the strings out with 1 of each color on each side, just as you would for a lot of other bracelets. That is what I've chosen for my string order. Now we are going to start. Hello, Lexi from the future. I wanted to go through something about string order before we get too much into the video. Now, ignoring the kind of bunchiness up here because of the way that they're tied, that's not really lying the way it should at the moment, which is fine. If you just kind of look, there down at these strings, this order will produce this pattern. So essentially, when you're using 6 different colors, the 3 outermost colors are what are going to make up the diamonds, the bigger, medium, and smaller ones. And then these 3 inner bracelets aren't really going to show up very much in the sort of center bit. They will show up on the edges, and then this order progression will be what will show up on the edges. So that being said, you can kind of plan out your color choices accordingly. I wanted this bracelet to be predominantly green and have the black show through, which is why I left these 3 on the outside when I started the bracelet like that. And then these kind of blue colors don't really show up very much except for the edges, and then I liked the progression of you know, the black, the dark blue to the light blue, whatever is the centermost color when you set up your strings for this bracelet actually won't show up. So as you can see in the actual pattern, the white doesn't show up at all. That light color is actually just the light blue. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your strings. If you really like this, whatever color you choose for the center, maybe don't put it in the center because you won't actually see it all, only in the braids at the ends. So you know, and whatever you want to show up the most, you can kind of put on the outside. So like I said, I wanted it to be green and black, which is why I set it up this way. So we are going to start by taking the 5 strings on the left, and we're going to single the 6th one out. And we are going to make a forward knot over all 5 of these strings. I have a link to the 4 basic knots in friendship bracelet making in the description below. That is definitely a good one to watch before diving into this video. Leaving the string we just knotted with out, I'm going to take the next string in your sequence, and if you get confused you can kind of look at the other side to remember what your order is. So you're going to take that next string and you're going to do a forward knot on the remaining 4 strings. And you're going to leave that one out. Then you're going to take the next string, do a forward knot over these remaining 3. And then you are going to leave that one out. Then you're going to take the next string and you're going to do a forward knot on the remaining 2 strings. And then you're going to leave that one out. Then you're going to take the next one and do a forward knot on the last string. So now you're going to go to your other side and you're essentially going to do the same exact thing but with backward knots. So you're going to take the rightmost string and do a backwards knot over the remaining 5. Then you're going to take the next string, and once again you can look at your other side if you can't remember which string is next in the sequence. So right here we have the light green, so we're going to take that one and knot it over the remaining 4, making a backward knot. And then you are going to take the next string, is this black one, and you're going to knot a backward knot over the remaining 3. I'll try and do it this way so that I don't cover the whole thing with my arm while I'm knotting. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So then we're going to take the next string, which is this dark blue, and we're going to make a backward knot over the last 2. Then we're going to take this these last 2, and we're going to make a backward knot with our next string over our last one. Alright, now that we have our 2 sections like this, we are going to take the centermost strings and we are going to combine them in the center with a forward knot, the left over the right. Kind of pulling that together as tightly as possible to make sure that they're nice and close together. It's sometimes easy for there to be some gapping of some string, but you want to make them not nice and close together. So then what we're going to do is we are going to kind of leave this side, right side aside again. We're going to pick up the left side, and we are going to knot backward knots over each of our strings in order, going towards the left. And then we're going to do something different for our little last white string here. So we're going to do a backward knot on these 4. And if you can see, something that just happened here is I was pulling too much on this blue string and it flipped the knot. If that happens, because it's the blue is knotted over the white, so if I pull on the blue, it can flip the knot. So if that happens, all you have to do is take the white string and just kind of press on the brace as you're holding it and pull it, and it should flip it back, and then you can kind of take the blue and, you know, pull it a little more taut. I know I kind of have half of a knot tied on it with the green, so hopefully that was not confusing, but I can make another video on that if you guys want to know about how to fix little mistakes and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to finish that backward knot. Now when we get to the white string, we are going to do a backward forward knot. And once again, I have a link to the 4 basic knots in the description if you guys don't know what that is and wish to learn. It's a very quick video. So now we are going to take this kind of whole side, set it aside for a second, and you are going to do the same thing but in reverse. So we're going to leave out this little white string, and we are going to do forward knots onto these 4 strings in order. I can kind of feel like this blue is going to flip again, so I'm kind of pulling the white just to keep it, and I can kind of do that a little gently. But again, if it does flip, just pull the white, and I might even do that again at the end. So now that we have our 4 forward knots complete, we are going to take our last white string and we're going to do a forward backward knot with the dark green over the white. So now's the part where it starts to get a little bit confusing. You are only going to be knotting this next row with these middle strings, and you are going to be leaving these out completely. Something that I like to do so that I don't get confused is I will either take both of these strings and just kind of tuck it up out of the way, or I'll just take the dark green that I was knotting with and tuck that up out of the way, and that kind of separates it all out so I know what I'm doing, and I'll kind of continue to do that as I go through the rows. So the next color that we are going to be knotting with is this light green, and we are going to be essentially repeating the same process. So we are going to start by joining them in the center and making sure, like right now they're crossed, but so just making sure that, you know, it is, you can see there's a little gap there, that you do have the right sides on each. And we're just going to create a forward knot in the center. And then we're going to take up the group of 4 on the left, and we are going to do backward knots onto these 2 strings here, the next one's in the order, and then we are going to do a backward forward on this blue string. So completely leaving the white and dark green out of the row. So now we're going to do our backward forward knot. And again, so we don't get confused, I'm going to take this string we were just knotting with and I'm going to tuck it over the back. And then these two strings that were knotted on, we're just going to kind of leave to the side. And we're going to pick up the ones on the right. So we're going to do the same thing but in reverse. We're going to leave out this kind of last string here, and we are going to knot forward knots onto these two strings, the next one's in the order, and then we're going to do a forward backward knot on this last blue string. This is forward backward. So we're going to do the same thing as the other side again, where we're going to take our light green and kind of tuck it out of the way, and then take our two strings that were knotted on and just kind of leave them to the side. And now we have our middlemost 4 strings. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the next ones in our sequence, which are these black ones, and we are going to do a forward knot in the middle. And then we're going to leave the ones on the right side, pick up the ones on the left. And now because we don't have any strings in the middle, it's just our knotting string and this dark blue one, we are just going to do a backward forward on this string. And we are going to do the same thing on the right side, but with a forward backward over this last dark blue string. Now what we are going to do is we're going to take these two centermost strings that have kind of rejoined with those forward, backward, and backward, forward knots, and we are going to tie a forward knot with those, and that is going to close up our first little diamond shape. And once again, if you flip knots, I just did, you just take the string that was knotted on and give it a little tug and the knot should flip back. So we are going to take our light green string and we are going to make 2 forward knots onto the dark blue and black strings next to it. And I always like to give the corner string a little tug just to make sure that the knot isn't starting to flip. And now we are going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take our light green and we are going to knot 2 backward knots onto this dark blue and black. So now we are going to take our 2 light green strings that have kind of came back together in the center, and we are going to join them with a forward knot. And then we are going to take our dark green string down and we are going to knot forward knots on these 4 strings here. And as you can see, the knot slipped with the white. So once again, just giving it a little tug so that it slips back. It's really easy for that to happen on the corners, so you just have to be conscious of that. And we're going to continue on. We are going to do the same thing. We're going to take our dark green down, leaving out the white, making sure to do that on the last row as well. Then you're going to knot backward knots on these remaining 4 strings. And as you can see, the knot flipped again. It's just, it may not happen if you're not tying your knots super tight, but I like to pull them really tight, so it will sometimes happen. As I said, just go back and pull it and it should flip back. So now we are going to take these 2 dark strings that have rejoined in the middle, and we are going to tie a forward knot to join them. And so now you have the completed diamond shape. The last thing we're going to do is to finish off the shaped effect. We are going to basically do the reverse of the very first step we did. So we are going to take this light blue string and we're going to knot a backward knot over the white, making sure to pull it fairly taut to make sure it's nice and tight against the rest of the bracelet. Now we're going to kind of join those together as if they're one single string. We're going to move on to the next string, this dark blue, and we are going to tie a backward knot over both. And again, kind of making sure to pull it really tight against the bracelet. Has a habit of kind of slipping down, so you just want to make sure that you're really connecting it up with the rest of the bracelet. And now you're going to combine these 3 together. I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to do a backwards knot over all 3 of these strings. And then you're going to take our next string and do a backward knot over all 4, the remaining. And again, making sure to pull these last ones really tight. And then you're going to take your final string and you're going to do a backwards knot over the remaining 5. And again, making sure to pull that really tight. And then you are going to do the same thing on the right side, but in reverse. So you're going to take the light blue and white, and you're going to make a forward knot over the white. And then you're going to take the next string, this dark blue, and do a forward knot over 2 strings together. Then you're going to take the next string and do a forward knot over the 3 strings together. And then you are going to take the next string and knot them over all 4 of those other strings. And then you are going to take the final string and make a forward knot over all 5. So that is how you make the shaped friendship bracelet. You just repeat that over and over and over until the bracelet is the desired length. So I have taken the bracelet off of the clipboard and untied the knot that was holding it in place, and I just wanted to show you an up close of what that looks like. Hopefully those colors were different enough for you guys to see. I know some of them were a little similar. To finish off this bracelet, on the ends, when I am finished with the rest of the bracelet, it's not done yet, I will be tying a fishtail braid, and I have a tutorial for that. I'll link in the description. I'm choosing a fishtail braid because it has an even number of strings, so the fishtail braid will just look a lot nicer and cleaner. So the ends will look like this when I have finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this. They do take a very long time, but all your love and support, lovely comments, subscriptions and all that stuff really motivate me to keep going, so thank you very much for that. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when I make new videos. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!